Bolo Yeung has unveiled a heartbreaking truth about Bruce Lee. These two martial arts titans left an indelible mark on action cinema history. While Bruce Lee is considered the father of modern martial arts, Bolo Yeung established himself as the embodiment of physical power on screen with his sculpted physique and commanding presence. Their meeting during the filming of Enter the Dragon would forge a profound friendship, brutally cut short by Bruce's mysterious death. Though reserved with the media, Bolo Yeung recently opened up in a rare interview, emotionally recalling his departed friend. But before delving into these revelations, let's revisit the extraordinary journey of Hong Kong's Steel Colossus. If you're a fan of 70s to 80s kung fu cinema, the name Bolo Yeung strikes like thunder. With his titanic frame and bulging muscles, he was far more than a mere screen sidekick. At a time when stuntmen relied on quick techniques, Bolo brought an unprecedented physical dimension, a true force of nature that made film reels tremble. Born on July 3, 1946, in Guangzhou amid war-ravaged China, his childhood held no glamour. Hailing from a modest family, Yeung Zi, his birth name, grew up in a nation undergoing communist transformation. Material deprivation and political tensions shaped his character, and at age 10, he discovered his refuge, martial arts. In 1950s Maoist China, practicing kung fu wasn't just a hobby. It was a millennia-old tradition, a philosophy-infused way of life. Bolo trained fervently under renowned masters, each movement becoming moving meditation. What set him apart early on was his belief that a powerful body was the natural extension of a disciplined mind. While peers focused on pure technique, he supplemented his training with improvised weightlifting using water buckets and stones. This holistic approach allowed him to master Tai Chi, the ancient art harmonizing strength and flexibility. But the political climate grew suffocating. As the Cultural Revolution gained momentum with its violent upheavals and liberty restrictions, Be on the Lookout dreamed of broader horizons. In 1962, he made a daring choice: flee to Hong Kong. The journey rivaled an adventure film, swimming across the Shenzhen River under night's cover, braving treacherous currents and border patrols. This ordeal forged unshakable resilience. Upon reaching the British colony, he discovered a radically different world, a vibrant melting pot where Chinese merchants, Western expats, and artists of all stripes mingled. The energy of this eclectic city gave him new life. In Hong Kong, Bolo realized his vision of the perfect body. Inspired by American bodybuilders like Steve Reeves, he transformed his physique through iron discipline. His days began before dawn. 4 hours of intense weightlifting followed by 3 hours of martial practice, all while working as a porter to survive. His devotion paid spectacularly. In 1969, he won the Mr. Hong Kong title, holding it for 10 consecutive years, an absolute record. Yet beyond podium glamour, Bolo saw bodybuilding as an extension of his martial philosophy. "A strong body is a temple housing a serene mind," he often said. This era also brought spiritual growth. Through Tai Chi, he balanced raw power with inner mastery, bodily demands with Eastern wisdom. As Hong Kong became the cradle of martial arts cinema, Bolo stood ready to take the stage, unaware he'd soon cross paths with a certain Bruce Lee. In 60s to 70s Hong Kong, the ferment shaped more than bodies. The fitness studio boom intersected with film studios, creating a unique ecosystem where physical excellence became a passport to the silver screen. In this crucible, Bolo Yeung, like a diamond honed by discipline, transformed passion into destiny. Every drop of sweat shed lifting weights forged his ticket into a changing world, Hong Kong action cinema. His reputation as an extraordinary athlete, already legendary in bodybuilding circles, became a springboard. Keen-eyed producers sought fresh faces embodying both power and mystique. Bolo, with his armor-like chest and piercing gaze, emerged as the archetypal, unforgettable villain. As Bruce Lee revolutionized martial arts on film, Hong Kong became the epicenter of a cultural tsunami. Shaw Brothers and Golden Harvest Studios, dream factories, churned out films at breakneck speed, exporting their magic far beyond Asia. Their works, electrifying blends of choreographed combat, fiery drama, and modern myth-making, Bolo's entry into this cinematic landscape felt inevitable. His titanic physique, 1.80 meters tall, 110 kilograms of rippling muscle, commanded immediate presence. But behind this imposing shell lay an invisible challenge: the language barrier. Hailing from Canton, he had to adapt to Hong Kong's Cantonese while navigating complex film set codes. A challenge he met with the same rigor as his training. Every line was a battle, every silence a strategy, he later confessed. His early roles were modest yet revealing. In films like Deadly Duo or The Angry Guest, he embodied intimidating figures, often reduced to silence. Paradoxically, this economy of words became his strength. A mere furrowed brow, an icy sneer, and entire audiences held their breath. Shaw Brothers directors quickly realized they had a trump card. A villain who needed no speeches to impose terror. His entrance scene in The Five Venoms remains etched in memory. Back to the camera, muscles taut, gradually revealing a face of stone. Viewers shuddered before he even lifted a finger. Yet Bolo refused to be confined to the stereotype of the mindless brute. He crafted his characters with clockmaker's precision, infusing each antagonist with a disturbing humanity. In Blooded Treasury Fight, his villain concealed tragic loyalty. In Enter the Dragon, facing Bruce Lee, he became a near-metaphysical force of nature. This alchemy between brute strength and psychology elevated him beyond a mere foil. He became a distorting mirror for the audience's fears. Filming was a marathon of sweat and tension. Between fight choreographies that left bruises and long hours of makeup accentuating his already defined muscles, Bolo enforced his own discipline. "I treated every film like a fight," he confessed. This mindset elevated him to living legend status as Hong Kong kung fu films conquered Europe, America, and even Africa. History's irony. This man who portrayed silent villains became Asian exploitation cinema's most recognizable voice. His name, synonymous with pure intensity, now resonates far beyond darkened theaters. Audiences were captivated by how Be on the Lookout embodied villains. These antagonists, far from simplistic figures, evoked uncanny sympathy. Through his physical presence and subtle acting, he achieved the feat of humanizing his characters, rendering them almost vulnerable. In an era when cinematic villains were often caricatures, Bolo brought unprecedented psychological depth. His gaze is heavy with doubt, gestures laden with contradictions, eloquent silences. All transformed his roles into living enigmas. Imagine Hong Kong cinema of the 60s to 70s. Spectacular stunts, invincible heroes. Amid this frenzy, Bolo provided vital nuance. His villains were never mere obstacles to overcome. They became plot catalysts, distorting mirrors reflecting the heroes, adding layers of meaning. When he appeared on screen, his warrior's physique, reminiscent of ancient statues, contrasted with his ability to convey fragility. This duality between brute force and sensitivity made him hypnotic. At Shaw Brothers, that legendary studio, Bolo found his ideal playground. Collaborating with top fight choreographers, visionary directors like Chang Che, and actors of T. Lung or David Chang's caliber, all honed his talent. He often recounted how endless rehearsals in Hong Kong's sweltering studios were his full-scale acting lessons. Stunts, frequently performed without doubles, demanded iron discipline. Bolo emerged as a perfectionist, reshooting a scene 20 times to balance physical violence and dramatic intensity. This rigor cemented his legacy. Young actors watched him backstage, studying his pauses before lines or vocal modulations. Screenwriters began crafting complex roles specifically for him. His imposing stature, nearly 6 feet 3 inches and 220 pounds of muscle, became a narrative tool, embodying external threat while his acting revealed inner conflict. Yet during this same era, another giant rose in martial arts cinema. Bruce Lee also blurred boundaries, but his path diverged radically. Picture a child born in 1940 San Francisco under the Chinese zodiac's dragon sign. Young Bruce Lee grew up in Kowloon's crowded streets, where his father, a Cantonese opera star, introduced him to film sets early. By 1941, Barely a year old, he debuted in Golden Gate Girl. Bruce's adolescence spiraled into chaos. At 13, he was entangled in gang conflicts. For self-defense, he studied Wing Chun under Master Yip Man. But repeated brawls forced his parents' drastic decision. In 1959, they sent him alone to San Francisco with $100. He washed dishes in a Chinese restaurant before enrolling at Edison Technical School. By night, in Chinatown's alleys, Bruce hosted underground fights with visiting sailors. He refined his technique by blending Western boxing, fencing, and philosophy. At the University of Washington in 1961, he studied Plato and Nietzsche while developing his own style, Jeet Kune Do. At his first Seattle school, he taught students of all backgrounds, a bold move when martial arts remained segregated. While Bruce was revolutionizing martial arts practices, Bolo transformed the portrayal of villains in cinema. Two trajectories, two visions, yet the same passion for total physical expression. Their paths drew inexorably closer, propelled by Hong Kong cinema's golden age, poised to converge in a meeting that would shake the history of action cinema. As Bruce Lee strung together successes in Hong Kong with cult films like The Green Hornet and The Big Boss, the young actor cemented his reputation as an extraordinary martial artist. Yet behind this rising glory lingered a persistent nostalgia, the need to return to his roots and contribute to the rise of his homeland's film industry. It was within this fermenting context that destiny would seal his encounter with one of the most iconic figures of his career, Yang Zi, better known as Bolo. Their first meeting occurred amid the bustle of a commercial set for Winston cigarettes. An immediate chemistry ignited between the two men. The contrast was striking. Bruce Lee, the sleek athlete with lightning-fast movements, and Bolo, a force of nature with bulging muscles. Yet their shared passion for martial arts forged an unbreakable bond. Recognizing Bolo's raw talent, Bruce offered him a role in his next ambitious project, Enter the Dragon, a decision that would transform both their careers. The filming immersion proved grueling. The production transported its cast to a remote island for a fictional martial tournament that swiftly became reality. Spartan shooting conditions under Hong Kong's sweltering temperatures tested physical limits. But Bruce Lee, an obsessive perfectionist, demanded revolutionary choreography for every fight scene. It was within this creative crucible that the nickname Bolo was born, drawn from Yang Zi's character in the film, a moniker that would stick to him like a second skin. Enter the Dragon's phenomenal success still resonates today. Made on a meager $850,000 budget, the film raked in over $400 million, an unprecedented feat that elevated martial arts to a global phenomenon. Beyond the astronomical figures lay a revolution. Bruce Lee had infused action cinema with a new visual grammar. His choreographies, honed like warrior poems, transformed violence into art. In 2022, the typically reticent Bolo shattered the mystery surrounding his friendship with Bruce Lee in a rare interview. His testimony revealed an unexpected Bruce, torn between natural humility and the need to defend his martial honor. Bruce never sought fights, Bolo confided, recounting how a daring extra once provoked Lee to test his skills. The result was lightning fast. Bruce sent him to the mat with a single head kick, too quick to see. The myth took shape. Lee could deliver 8 punches in 1 second, his martial art transcended by iron discipline. His most feared technique, the 1-inch punch, epitomized his physical genius. This devastating strike, launched mere inches from an opponent, could send a 90 kilograms man flying nearly 5 meters. The mind-boggling physics, a fist speed of 190 kilometers per hour generated by an explosive hip twist. Scientists calculated its kinetic energy equal to 60 kilograms weight dropped from 10 meters, firepower that left even the colossal Bolo in awe. The question haunting fans: who would win between Bruce Lee and Bolo? Their styles embodied opposing philosophies. Lee, the apostle of speed and precision, versus Bolo, the titan of brute force. A hypothetical match still fueling heated debates in training halls today. What history preserves is their unique bond, a chemistry between two men who forever changed the face of martial arts cinema. Bruce Lee and Bolo Yeung embodied diametrically opposed martial philosophies. Before creating his revolutionary Jeet Kune Do, Lee drew his roots from Wing Chun, a discipline demanding rigor and tactical sensitivity. This training taught him economy of motion, prioritizing fluid combinations and reading an opponent's intent. But there was more. His teenage dance practice in Hong Kong and acrobatic feats enriched his combat arsenal. Imagine a fighter shifting from a serpentine dodge to a leaping kick worthy of a classical dancer. This was Bruce Lee's quintessence. Bolo Yeung, born Yang Zi, represented the embodiment of strength. His colossal physique, sculpted by intensive bodybuilding, concealed formidable mastery of karate and traditional kung fu. At the time, his displays of power, shattering brick stacks barehanded or bending steel bars, became legendary in tournaments. His approach, iron discipline, focused on endurance and delivering single, devastating blows. One fist could end a fight in seconds, even against a faster adversary. In the hypothetical duel that still fascinates enthusiasts, their styles would have produced a clash of titans. Bruce Lee, agile as a feline, would have used his legendary speed to circumvent Bolo's muscular bulk. His lightning reflexes, honed through years of training with the Mukjong, the Wing Chun wooden dummy, would have allowed him to detect and exploit the slightest opening. His attacks targeting vital points, throat, temples, solar plexus, with techniques like the famed one-inch punch, would have sought to swiftly neutralize the imposing Yeung, despite their size disparity. Carving a place among martial arts legends isn't given to everyone. Yet Bruce Lee and his mythical adversary Bolo Yeung achieved this feat by embodying the clash of titans in Enter the Dragon. Picture the scene. Bolo's rippling muscles, this 6-foot-tall colossus nicknamed the world's strongest man, facing Bruce's lightning-fast speed, an opposition that left its mark on the genre's history. And not just because of the infamous fight where Bolo literally crushes an opponent between his thighs. What fascinates is the electric energy between these two giants. Did you know Bolo was a champion bodybuilder in China before becoming an actor? There's even a juicy anecdote. During their first meeting, Bruce allegedly joked that his mentor would have been impressed by Bolo's build. But behind this apparent camaraderie lay true professionalism. The two spent hours choreographing their fights to make every move seem brutal yet realistic. Their relationship alone symbolizes martial arts duality. Bolo embodies raw power, that mythic, intimidating force. In fact, his skin-tight costumes in the film weren't just stylistic, they heightened this aura of physical domination. Opposite him, Bruce Lee represented the grace of the warrior philosopher, where every gesture became an expression of will. Yet it was in their confrontation that these icons found true synergy. Their final duel on Hans Island became the gold standard, studied by generations of filmmakers. It transcends mere combat. A lethal dance where cunning clashes with brute force. A scene etched into memory, especially when Bolo roars at Bruce before charging. Asterisk, you're good, but I'm going to carve you up. Asterisk. This dynamic so captivated fans that some see it as the origin of cinema's legendary rivalries. Think about it. Without Bruce and Bolo, no Rocky versus Ivan Drago, no Neo versus Agent Smith in The Matrix. And let's be honest, who hasn't yelled, "Be on the lookout, Young," in their best gravelly voice just to impress friends? But today, I'm curious. Which scene between these icons struck you most? Was it Bolo hurling his opponent against a wall like a ragdoll? Or Bruce's legendary line, "Don't use your strength, use your energy"? Tell me everything in the comments. And if you've got wild off-screen stories about their bond, share them. Speaking of sharing, if you love diving into legendary cinema's backstories with me, hit that like button. One click for you, but it means the world to me. And if you're not subscribed yet, join the community. We're a passionate crew debating the best fights, iconic lines, and filming secrets daily. Above all, massive thanks for being here. As you can tell, I could talk forever about these legends, but I promise we'll keep exploring other mythical cinematic rivalries. Until then, take care, train hard, but not too hard, and stay curious. Until next time for another dive into the mesmerizing world of the silver screen.